Yo, so I'm here to talk about Washington's offseason, our biggest needs, where we need to upgrade, who we need to re-sign, who we need to let go or trade. So I'm kind of doing this on the fly now, but here's my list. Number one, I like to upgrade the D line. This D line is not what it used to be. It's basically on name principle only right now in terms of like when people look at how good it is, they're like, oh, they got Deron Payne, they got Jonathan Allen. These guys are not living up to their contracts. Let's just be honest. I'm happy Jonathan Allen was able to come back. Deron Payne has been durable. One game missed in 5 years. Guess what? It was in the NFC Championship. Okay, you can't fault him too much for that. But even when they are in there, they're just not they're not living up to the contract. Okay, this year we're 28th in run defense. Really, I'd like to have a nice edge rusher too. It's not all about the run game. I want to be able to rush the passer, not have to blitz as much, not have to leave our corners as much on one-on-one islands. I want to be able to generate that pressure with the front four. So I'm looking at. I think they might actually bring back Allen and Payne. Everybody's so dead set on they're not going to keep him. I don't know. I think they'll bring him back just because I don't think they're going to get very much for him, more than like a fourth-round pick. Now, is that worth it? Maybe. But, I mean, I would rather just hold on to Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, have Johnny Newton in there, so you got good D-tackle depth with that. And I think we definitely need to beef up, like I said, our edge rusher, our defensive ends. Dorrance Armstrong had a pretty good year. He was hurt for a few games. I don't think Dante Fowler is going to be back. I think a lot of these guys they bring in for one-year deals where the team has played well, the success of the team has been good. You got a lot of fans out there that are saying, like, we got to re-sign Bobby Wagner. We got to re-sign Dante Fowler. We got to re-sign Iggy in the secondary. We got to re-sign all these different guys. We can't, De'Ami Brown. We can't re-sign all these guys, okay? And then a lot of them, they were brought in 1 year as patchwork process because you can't just buy everybody in you can't turn the whole roster over just in free agency in the draft. You don't have enough picks in 1 year and you don't have enough money in the first year to be able to just sign all these free agent guys. Now, we do have a lot in cap room, don't get me wrong, and I expect us to spend a lot, at least I hope. But the thing is, a lot of these guys aren't going to be back, okay? We can bring in guys just to be as successful as they were, okay? And Dan Quinn, of course, he wanted to bring his regime over. And in order to put your system in for the first year, it helps to have as many familiar guys that working that scheme as possible. But now that we're going to be into year two of the Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Jaden Daniels experience, I just don't think they're going to bring back a lot of these guys. Now, Bobby Wagner might be back. I might bet money that he'll be back. I don't think Dante Fowler will be back. De'Ami Brown, I don't think he'll be back, nor do I think we should re-sign him. A lot of y'all are saying maybe he's a number two. Nah, he's not a number two receiver. He can't run enough routes yet. And not only that, I don't feel comfortable paying a guy that much money that for 4 years did little to nothing. Now, it all wasn't his fault. Of course, he had bad quarterback play throughout the years. But really, he just didn't make the most of the opportunity until recent. And now he's had, 2 or 3 pretty good games. That's not enough for me to want to re-sign him, nor do I want him to be my number two regardless. Now, at the very least, I'll try to compromise. If they were to sign him on a team-friendly deal for him to come back and be like, let's say, the third wide receiver, that's one thing. But I'm not looking – when you pay guys in free agency, you got to pay them. I mean, it ain't no, cheap bargains very often out there, unless they're old and they're just guys that they don't want anymore. Hence, we signed so many old guys for bargains that nobody else wanted. Okay, so I don't think De'Ami's going to be back. We definitely need to get a bona fide either number 2 or 1B. I call it number 2 or 1B because, I want a dog out there. Don't get me wrong. I want somebody that's a beast. I want a big physical receiver. You're watching these other teams where they just throw it up as a jump ball. Mac Hollins. I'm not saying I want Mac Hollins. I'm just saying these are physical specimens that can go up, win one-on-one matchups. When you look at us this year, we didn't have a whole lot of plays like that where we could just throw up a jump ball and Jaden had the confidence that the guy was going to come down with it. Terry McLaurin is a great contested catch wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. Terry McLaurin is not exactly like DK Metcalf size. He's an average size wide receiver at best. You know what I mean? So he's not like some towering guy that can jump 48 inches into the air. He's good once he gets his hands on the ball of being able to pull it in. He's good at that. But I want to bring in a dog at wide receiver. And it doesn't matter if it's through the draft. To me, it doesn't matter if you bring in T. Higgins. I don't know. What are some other names? Amari Cooper I'd bring in. He's getting a little kind of on the old side for me, but I mean, hell, with him and Terry McLaurin, that would be a beast. Now, he doesn't necessarily fit the, really tall and physical receiver. He is physical, but he's not like super tall when it comes to like jump balls and such. That's not his strength. But yeah, I want to bring in a dog at wide receiver, get that D-line boosted up. Offensive line got to be boosted up. They're not as good as people think. Jaden has made them look better than what they are. I don't know if I agree. Tom Brady on the telecast said they were below average offensive line. I don't know if they're that bad. Without Cosme, yeah. I don't know if he meant without Cosme or if he's just saying in general. I don't think he really cared at that point. He's probably going to say below average regardless. I don't think they're that bad. I think they're about average. When they go up against good teams like the Eagles with good D-lines, of course, they have problems. That's what happens when you're average going to get up against elite. I would like to, however, add some offensive line help. I'm not like a big fan of Andrew Wiley. I'm not a big fan of Nick Allegretti, to be honest with you. I'm hoping Coleman can continue to improve, Biadasz is good. Going up against Jalen Carter, that's a bad dude. So he had his problems with that for sure. But Biadasz is great. You see the difference when he's not in there. It makes all the difference in the world. Cosme, he's not going to be back week 1, y'all. He's not going to come back until later. So, whether we want to or not, even if we didn't even want to upgrade the offensive line a whole lot, we're going to have to bring people in that can play day one because with him being out for at least half the season, you're going to have somebody from day one that's competent to go in there. So I'm not big in terms of like looking at the draft and all that, like college football, like until it gets closer. I'm an NFL fan at heart. College football, I have a favorite team, but I don't follow it that often. I'm not going to sit there and just watch every game. Hell, I didn't even watch a couple of the bowl games because I'll tune in if it's a blowout. It's like I ain't watching it. I'll just be honest with you. NFL, I'll watch it. Even if it's a blowout, I'll watch it. But I'm getting off track here. We got the D-line. We got wide receiver. Tight end wise, I did not want to bring Zach Ertz in for much of the year. I'll just be honest with you. I really didn't. I thought he's getting up there in age. But, there's something to be said for the security blanket that he is for Jaden Daniels, because you notice on every fourth down, we're looking his way. I say bring him back, honestly. The only thing is I just don't want us to, settle necessarily, if they think Ben Sinnott is going to one day be a tight end 1 and he's working his way through this process to become the starter, then that's one thing. But if you really think that Ben Sinnott is not going to be much more than a guy that catches fake punts like in the NFC Championship, or, a guy like John Bates where it's like the only time he gets the ball is in what looks to be a blocking situation, run blocking, and we put him out there, he basically leaks out free, nobody's paying attention, and he scores a touchdown. If that's all he's going to be, if that's what you think he's going to be at this point, I don't know. I'm not there with the coaches, the practicing. We need to bring in another guy at tight end because I'd like to have an explosive guy, vertical, that can stretch the field. We don't have that right now at all. Zach Ertz is obviously not what he once was, but just to be I don't know, what do they call it? Basically just somebody a safety where Jaden, I don't have anywhere to go with football. I need to dump it off here, move the chains. Zach Ertz is great for that, even at this age. So I'd bring him back. Who else we got? So wide receiver, if we beef that up, bring Zach Ertz back, If we need a vertical, if you find a vertical tight end, get that. Offensive line, build that up some too. All right. Bobby Wagner, he's getting up there in age, but there's something to be said for a guy that's the quarterback of the defense, the Mike linebacker, gets the guys lined up. Just basically, like I said, the quarterback of the defense, that's invaluable. Even if we bring him back, I want to see either Jordan McGee step up or get another linebacker to play for under Bobby Wagner, because that's another position. It was great having competent linebackers this year because we did not have that during the Ron Rivera era for 4 years. Go figure, when you have Ron Rivera, who was part of the 85 Bears defense, probably the best defense of all time, at least the most kind of legendary, storied defense of all time. If you want to argue other ones, like the Steel Curtain from the 60s and 70s, or if you want to say the Baltimore Ravens more recently, any of that stuff, that's fine. But him and Jack Del Rio, who are both linebackers, couldn't bring in a linebacker that knew his head from his ass in their 4 years. It was great having a linebacker this year. Are you kidding me? It's like a plant without water for 3 weeks, man. We finally got a little taste of it. And now I don't want us to rest on our laurels, because Bobby Wagner's getting older, So maybe you do bring him back for another year. Maybe you don't. I would like to add another guy regardless, or have somebody else step up like Jordan McGee. Now, the secondary, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I actually like our secondary. I thought it was the weakest point of the team coming into this year. But when you look at Mikey Sainristil, he's going to have, Mama said there'll be days like this. You're going to have your growing pains. He didn't play well against the Philadelphia Eagles. Who expected him to? I mean, it's a rookie cornerback, had a great year. He should be mentioned among the defensive rookies of the year. He should be in the running for that. Not saying he should win it. He should be in the running. Then you got Marshon Lattimore. And that's the big question for me. And that's going to impact our defense next year, I think, most out of anybody. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people are just looking at it like last game and just say he sucks, Get him out of there. Either get him out of there or he just sucks. Regret the trade. Probably can't get out of it now. He's got 2 more years left. He's got a big contract left. We didn't have to pay much this year, but he's still making a decent amount next 2 years. Nothing compared to the guys that have signed cornerback deals in the last year or so. But look, the hamstring, I don't think it was all the way there. I mean, now has he regressed some? Does he like to fight too much? Is he too physical at times? Yeah, all that stuff. I think with another offseason, I think with a offseason since he joined us, him being able to come back and, rehab that injury, I think he's going to be back, not better than ever, but I think he's going to be more than serviceable. Him, along with Mikey Sainristil. Jeremy Chinn did not have a good game against the Eagles, but, I look forward to him being back. I don't know what the contract. Actually, I think he's on a 1-year deal, so this would be it. I like him. I like Jeremy Chinn pretty good. My thing is, who else are you going to get? Now, if you go out and draft a guy, sure, I'd like to draft a first-round pick safety over bringing back Jeremy Chinn. I'm just saying hypothetically. But you have so many holes elsewhere, you're not going to, it wouldn't be wise to do that. I would bring Jeremy Chinn back for the right conditions, And Quan Martin, he's not the most amazing safety out there, but he does what he's asked to do, which is he's in deep coverage. He doesn't let anything get behind him, and I thought he's played pretty well so far. Again, we're not going to have the best safeties in the league or anything like that. But if you look at Mikey Sainristil improving next year, you look at Marshon Lattimore hopefully coming back and having a bounce back year. And then if you re-sign Iggy, that's one thing. If you don't re-sign Iggy, either way, you need to bring another guy in at cornerback. We do need to add a cornerback, but I just feel better about it than I did earlier like in the year. Earlier in the year, it was like, get rid of all of them. Not Mikey, but you know what I mean? He was unproven at the time. So you're just like, we have nobody. We have nobody. No corners. We need like 4 corners. Now I don't feel that way. I'm just like, I think we add a corner or 2 maybe. And I think we'll be all right as long as they're serviceable. But anyways, I look forward to what we do. Like, and it all depends on what do you get in free agency. Hopefully you get a lot done. If you get a lot done, if you sign a T. Higgins and sign an edge rusher in free agency, I'm just saying hypothetically, I don't know who else out there. But if you plug some holes beforehand, you know, then you got those draft picks, because we don't have as many as we did last year. You know, I think we got 7 of them, but I think 3 are in the 7th round. So it's not, we have, our draft order is worse than what it normally would be. You know, if you just had a normal 1 through 7, there's one of those rounds we're missing that's earlier than, you know. But if you're able to sign some players in free agency, then draft be looking good, man. So anyways, I was kind of all over the place with this video. My wife's calling me. I got to bounce up off of here. I'm looking forward to it. I'll make some more videos coming up. This was just kind of spur of the moment thing. But hail to the Commanders. Hold your head up high. We're going to be all right. Adam gonna cook. Peace out.